The Teeth of Blackwater Bayou, Part 6, What Still Remains. The swamp did not celebrate. It did not quiet in relief. It did not stir with peace. It did not offer Elias anything that could be mistaken for closure. It simply continued. The place where the man had sunk looked no different by morning. There was no mark, no disturbed earth, and no sign that anything had been taken. There was only mud, still, flat, and undisturbed. Elias stood there longer than he meant to. The night had drained out of him in pieces, shock first, then understanding, then something quieter that refused to leave. He should have gone back to the house, packed his things, and left before the sun climbed high enough to make the swamp feel ordinary again. But he didn't, because something had changed. Not the land, but him. He could feel it in his chest, that pressure from before. That pull and heaviness was still there, but different now. It felt less like something drawing him in and more like something holding him in place, watching. Elias turned slowly. The trees stood exactly as they had the night before, but now they felt closer. He walked back toward the house, not quickly and not slowly, but just forward. The plantation looked worse in daylight. The illusion was gone. The columns leaned further than they should have, and the boards sagged under their own weight. The windows gaped like hollow sockets, no longer pretending to reflect anything but darkness. Inside, the air had warmed, but it did not feel alive. It felt used. Elias moved through the rooms again, past the claw marks, the broken walls, and the place where the floor had once been soaked through with something that had never truly left. He stopped in the bedroom, the one with the stains. He didn't know why, only that something had drawn him back. The light shifted through the broken ceiling, cutting across the floor in uneven shapes. For a moment, everything looked still. Then he saw it near the far wall. It was a footprint, small, bare, and pressed lightly into the dust. Elias frowned and stepped closer. It was fresh, too fresh. He looked around the room. Nothing moved and nothing breathed. But the air had changed again. It was colder, not the kind of cold that comes from shade, but the kind that settles into bone. Another footprint appeared. It was not forming or emerging, but simply there. A second step, leading away from the wall. Elias's chest tightened. "No," he whispered, but his voice didn't carry. The footprints continued, one after the other, crossing the floor and heading toward the doorway. Elias didn't follow. He couldn't, because something in him understood that this was not something meant to be followed. The footprints reached the threshold, stopped, and turned slowly back toward him. Elias's breath caught. The air pressed in, and then he heard it. It was a sound, soft and close, a child's voice. It was not crying or laughing, but just there. "Why didn't you help her?" Elias's body locked. The voice hadn't come from the doorway, and it hadn't come from the hall. It had come from behind him. He turned slowly. Nothing stood there, but the room was no longer empty. The cold deepened and the smell shifted. It was not rot or blood, but water. Deep, still water. The kind that holds things. Elias swallowed. I didn't. I wasn't. The words died because the answer didn't matter. The question wasn't for him. Another footprint appeared, closer now, facing him. Elias stepped back. The floor creaked, and the house answered. A long, low groan moved through the walls, through the beams, through the bones of the place itself. Something had shifted. Not outside, but inside. The house had been empty for years, but now it wasn't. Elias turned and moved quickly toward the door. He was not running yet. Behind him, the sound of small footsteps followed. They were not chasing, but matching him step for step. He reached the front hall. The door stood open, light spilling across the warped wood. The swamp waited beyond it, but now the house felt worse. He stepped outside, and the air hit him hard, warm, heavy, and alive. He didn't stop moving. He crossed the porch, stepped into the path, and kept going. Only when the house disappeared behind the trees did he stop. His chest rose and fell in sharp bursts. His hands shook and his skin felt wrong. It felt like something had touched it, like something had followed him out and decided not to leave. The bayou was quiet, too quiet. Elias turned slowly. The trees stood still and the water lay flat. But in the distance, just at the edge of sight, something moved. It was small, watching and waiting. It was not alone. Beside it, something larger shifted in the shadows. It was not the creature, but something else. It was something that had been there longer, something that had seen everything. The wind finally moved and the trees whispered. For the first time since he had arrived, Elias understood. The curse had not ended. It had only changed. The man had been taken, but the land, the house, and the swamp still held what had been done. And now they had someone new to remember. That night, far from the house, Elias heard the sound again. It was not howling, and it was not screaming. It was something quieter, a voice, almost human, trying and failing to form his name. He did not go back, but he never left. And deep in Blackwater Bayou, where the water does not reflect the sky, the footprints still appear, small, bare, and waiting.